Okay, another game. What do we have? Let's find out. So we're still on mid-range. What am I thinking here? I like actually quite a lot of this. 15th Cav is a virtually ideal card for turn 1. 30 Yokosuka is also strong, worth it if you can get the gamble. 22 plays off both of those, so there keeps. I'm probably just going to pitch. Yeah, I'm playing US, so potentially frontline, potentially ramp. I'm trying not to look at the title to get spoilers. Yeah, I'm probably pitching Panzer Grenadier and the Dragon Slayer and keeping the rest. Ooh, spicy. I can see it. There is a risk here, though. So I get the logic. We have 2 excellent 4-drops in hand. So 2 really, particularly, we've got an excellent turn 4 play because Dragon Slayer is amazing on turn 4. Panzer Grenadier is strong turn 5 and just gets stronger every credit thereafter. Should say credit because we might have some acceleration, but that seems unlikely. Only thing is, I'm not seeing acceleration, so we are relying on the gods of odds that we're going to pull some stuff to help us. Obviously, 22 increases those, so I see the logic. I think it's a little aggressive for me, but we shall see. Great draw. Super strong. Really good lines ahead of us. Right, so we're going to go with the Yokosuka or the 15th. So, arguments in the 2 directions. Yokosuka has the advantage that it can obviously gain benefit from having adjacent units. However, both it and the 15th are 1 health, so it can be easily removed. Opponent's going to be on an interesting position. So I think I'd probably go Yokosuka, take the gamble, but we'll see. I think it's worth it at this point. I think it's a relatively safe play. Okay, so Nero goes a little more conservative. Safer play. Doesn't push up. Okay. Thinking frontline? Ouch. Although very expensive for our opponent. So we don't mind this because our opponent just used a card that they used a card and 2 credits to remove a 1 credit card. Advantage both sides for us. We're fine. We'll see how this goes, but generally we don't mind that. It's the best play. It's not a great play, but it's the best play. It's next turn. Actually, good moment to explain why it's the best play. Next turn, which is going to be 3 credits with the 22 down now. It's not doing anything now and it could get destroyed. But next turn, 3 credits would be 30 Yokosuka onto the board, pushed forward. Panzer onto the board, activates at 0 op cost, swings for 2 damage. We've got 2 units in the front line, 1 unit in reserve, and we're drawing, and we've done 2 points of damage. I think the line ahead, it's a good line ahead, and sets us up nicely for Dragon Slayer on turn 4. And then we can start playing with Panzer Grenadier and Winter Regiment later on. Okay. So, I have thoughts here. We've learned something about our opponent. Our opponent is extremely anxious to hold us down or some purpose. So they're probably playing a slower deck. Vicious Salvo to remove a non-active draw engine, however, it's not a good play. It's 3 credits and a card to achieve not a lot. Our opponents burned a couple of cards now very early. The most that salvo has saved you is, I mean, if you know the deck you're playing against, which you should, the most it saved you is about 2 damage to face, because you know a Panzer's the 35T is a serious possibility, but we'll see where we go from there. But we're in a good position right now. Our opponent is disadvantaging themselves on cards, which gives us, despite the fact that we have no board presence, a pretty good position. So we'll see where we go from here. Also, Raiding Brigade, just while I've got this paused, decent draw, gives us some control where an opponent does drop some units, although its mileage may be limited in this match because I'm thinking our opponent's going to be focusing on dropping larger units. We shall see. Yep, super clean line. Now we're in really good position for next turn. We have options. Our opponent might play a unit. Hopefully that would be targetable by Raiding Brigade. Otherwise, we've got Dragon Slayer. Finland. Okay. This is interesting. So this tells us our opponent's going to go hard salvage, which can be a bad matchup for us. There are lots of good salvage targets in our lineup. Nightmare scenarios include, assuming we are running it, which we really have to be, our opponent can salvage something like a 94 early, which then becomes a 4/4 0 op cost blitz, gains damage when it hits HQ. There are ways that it can be bad against us. We'd like to deal with this. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, and sort of was expecting, it's out of range of the Raiding Brigade. Sendai Regiment, if we're running it, is a good answer to this. But we'll see where we go. Schutzend's a good drop. Still the right play for me. So, worst case, we can trade this out with the infantry regiment. Okay, so we're going to get our first salvage effect. So, reasons why this was a really good play by our opponent. This is a great target for salvage because it only costs 2, which they're going to have. As soon as they drop it, it's going to be 0 op cost, and it's going to be a 0 op cost 4/4 blitz tank. It's fantastic, especially if they have a 2 cost, or better yet, 1 cost salvage card that they can salvage our other infantry with. Salvage decks played well can be very hard to deal with. Hey, I'm very confused by our opponent here. You've got a 2 cost 4/4 blitz unit, so you deploy it and end up with a 3/3 in the front line. Anyway, back to our own play. 94 is an incredible draw here. We're super happy to see that. more frontline presence, but if we're going to be playing around with the 94, we need to be conscious that we need a way to deal with the infantry regiment, because the 94 is another set. We do not want that coming back at us as a 1 cost, 0 op cost, 4/4 self-buffing attack tank. Let's see where Nero goes with this, but this is where we have to have thinky plays. We need to be thinking about ways to deal with that infantry regiment. This is dangerous. That's actually good for us, because now they can't salvage it. I am going to stop to say I'm not sure that that was the best play. I'd probably pushed Schutzen forward, because it's got 5 defense. Or even just dropped the Panzer Grenadier and waited. Or I might even have just traded out to get rid of that infantry regiment, because that can come back and bite us on the ass. But we'll see. I think that was a risky play. Okay, so at this point, we are expecting to have, at minimum, 244 units in the front line, if our opponent is going to play with any aggression at all. We don't mind. We've got Schutzen and Winter Regiment in hand, but that's what we expect to see from this very powerful salvage effect. So let's see where our opponent goes, because they've been very conservative early. Hyper aggressive. Let's see what they follow up with. Okay, so Winter Regiment is less good than Schutzen here. Winter Regiment does heal itself, but Schutzen does 3 damage to HQ, and their HQ is already heavily damaged. I'm thinking Schutzen damage, put the 22 down, and then wait and see what our opponent does. But we'll see what Nero thinks. Okay, have I done maths wrong here? Actually, you have to trade out both units. You don't have the credit to buff the tank. We'll see. I know Nero's a very good player, so we'll see if I've missed something, but this is a misplay to me. Schutzen is 3 damage to HQ, and we can put 22 down, so let's see. It's not a good trade. Even less so now. Okay, I'm not liking our position right now. We're going to have 7 credits to dig ourselves out of whatever hole we're about to get into, but this is looking very questionable. Once again, our opponent is playing very strangely. They're not doing anything with their credits. So we're going to have some good plays available to us, but let's see. So Schutzen removes the salvage unit, deals 3 damage to HQ, leaves us 2 credits. Oh, that's fair. I was 1 credit out last turn. My bad. 22 could go down and drop a 4/4 tank, but that's low value. Bombing raid clears both for 4, but then only leaves us 3 to operate with, which is suboptimal because we haven't got anything to take advantage unless we throw a naked panzer into the front line. Let's see. Oh, okay, that was very quick. I mean, it's good value. Okay. Slow down. This is the right play, but I would have liked to have seen a little thinking. Despite the fact that we have a 6-point HQ defense advantage, our opponent is coming back into card advantage, or at least card parity. This is the right play. We remove this, then the line after this, I think, is pretty much... You push Winter Regiment. I like putting Schutzen in because I don't think they've got an easy way of salvaging Schutzen. Or you could do the Panzer. There's lots of options here. There are no necessarily bad lines. It's just the way that you want to choose to play it. I think I see where we're going. So we're going to play the Panzer, buff it, and hit for 4 to face, presumably. Yeah. We swing. Do we not? I know. Are we worried about counters? Okay. I mean, he's floating credits, so I see why. But we're going to have to swing at some point. Ouch. Not great for our opponent, though. Very expensive way of clearing out. Hello. So good to see you. This is pretty much GG's if we play this right. Cheating's an amazing drop right now. Do you need to play this now? Do you need to show your hand against an opponent who has salvage? And when you're concerned about countermeasures? Or do you wait for credit 11 so that you can just insta-kill? Chip away, put the others forward. Again, it might be my more conservative lines of play, but I would have been more inclined to push up Schutzen or Winter Regiment here. But we'll see. That's smart. Test for the countermeasures. Okay, so it's fine. No odds either way. I think it's GG's, but we'll see. Oh, hello. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. That's very not good. We really want to top deck an answer to this because we're about to be naked in front of a 5/5 bomber. Oh, the gods of odds. Obviously, this is a no-brain play. Like, Nero snatching this card straight away. And usually I'd say slow down, think about it, but in this case you just send I. You have to. You know you have to. Now, the harder choice here is which of these two do you want in the front line? I like Schutzen for pressure, but we'll see. Yeah, there we go. Why do I prefer Schutzen? Because Schutzen says to our opponent, remove me now, or I guarantee damage to your HQ next turn, in all likelihood, because if you don't play something that can remove me, I'm either blowing up a unit and doing 3 or swinging for 4. Smart. Very smart. That's an excellent use of Motti tactic, because Sendai has salvage, says goodbye to the Schutzen. And there we go. Super clean play. This is a good game because we're playing against a good opponent. Our opponent's playing quite smart. We like to see Winter Regiment. Winter Regiment's good, but we'd love to see something that can answer that damn bomber. I don't like being naked in hand when I know my opponent has access to big removal cards. I have some concerns here, but we'll see. So we have a massive card disadvantage, even though our opponent is in real danger. They're guaranteed to remove one of the Winter Regiments if they've got another Motti tactic or another decent play. We could go straight to top deck or die. Should be interesting. That's nice. That's a very nice play from our opponent. Expensive, but effective. Breaking point is underused at times, in my opinion. In the US version of this, breaking point is quite strong. I've played around with this a little bit myself. Being able to destroy a suppressed or pinned unit or 2 can be very powerful, in my humble opinion. I quite like this. This is interesting. Also, we are looking at 9 damage unless we can find some form of protection. Okay, so this is not what we want to see. This could be very, very bad. In fact, this could just be GG's. Our opponent's got 9 damage on board. We can remove 4 of it, so we can just sack the Panzer out. Then our opponent's got us on a 4-turn clock rather than a 2-turn clock, but still. There is only one play. Okay, I get it. Just put your opponent in a difficult position, but countermeasures. I'm trying countermeasures. Okay. We have to respect Cold Trap. Have to respect Cold Trap. It's so powerful. Very bad. 9 up. Opponent gets some draw. This is looking very bad. I mean, we'd need the mother of all top decks. Nope. No, we're not done yet. Our opponent cannot kill us in 1 turn unless they have a good card in hand to do the extra 2 points of damage. So we do not quit, we keep our head clear, we keep focusing on what might be in our deck, but honestly, this isn't looking good. Well, can't win them all. We've used Bombing Raid, not that it would help us. We don't have any fast card draw that I'm aware of. I think we're cooked. Yep, it's GG's. That's fine. I want that quote. That's a very cool quote to have. That's very well played on both sides. There are a couple of lines that I think are a bit divergent, but nothing major. On the whole, it's the kind of game that you are going to lose from time to time. But realistically, not a lot you can do about it. As I say, a couple of things earlier on that I would probably have done slightly differently, but I don't actually think that they would have made a world-breaking amount of difference. Just food for thought. But again, another good illustrative game.